Good afternoon, dear parents, students in UAE, Qatar, and Oman. It's once again great pleasure seeing you all, meeting you all. We could not attend the physical exhibition due to the pandemic, but I'm extremely delighted to host this virtual fair for all of you, for all the students in UAE, Qatar, and Oman. And I'm sure in the last 2 days, and today is the final day of the virtual education fair, I've seen thousands of students and parents have taken the advantage of this platform. So my sincere gratitude, I heartfelt thanks to all of you, each one of you who have attended this show. And I can see a lot many students have come to the conference area attending this session, which is extremely exciting, extremely relevant, and extremely important for all of you. Now, we will try and make this interactive session this session to be a little more interactive. We'll take questions. My request to all of you, there is a Q&A button on the screen from where you are attending this webinar. Please put your questions. So as and when we'll get an opportunity, we will take your questions, and we assure you that as many questions will be taken, and we'll try and clear all your doubts here. So once again, my appreciation and thanks to all the esteemed, distinguished panelists which we have today for this session. Now, the question here is all about the students and parents' dilemma. So when will the life be normal? When the vaccine will be ready, or when the vaccination program will get over, when the schools or universities, colleges will be open, when the students will be able to attend physical classes. The questions are enormous, but yes, answers at times we do not have at this point of time. But yes, our expert panel have some kind of guidance, some directions, which will help you to understand how to steer away comfortably and make a very judicious call. Now, today's subject or today's topic is on entrance exam, which is JEE and NEET, which is very, very popular in UAE, Oman, and Qatar for the students, because engineering and medicine are such programs which are predominant in your region. And I'm extremely happy to host this session for you, where we are going to discuss on JEE and NEET entrance exams. We will cover what key changes has taken place in these entrance exams. With that, we'll also understand the expectations from the student side, from the education fraternity side, and what kind of impact it will leave, or it's expected to leave, on the students as well as the educational institutions. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Vivek Shukla. Thank you so much for joining once again this session. I have a very esteemed, distinguished panel. Let me introduce Mr. Prabhakaran, who is the Assistant Director, International Relations, Sri Ramachandran Institute of Higher Education and Research from Chennai. Hello, Mr. Prabhakar. Thank you very much for joining in.
Thank you.
Our second speaker is Mr. Savinay Patlola, who's the CTO of Mindler. So Mindler is a career assessment and guidance platform for students. And Savinay is also a technology leader. He's from IIT Kharagpur. So thank you once again, Savinay, for joining in. With a lot of support from your end, we have been able to curate this session and expect a good engagement, good exciting time with you this afternoon.
Thank you, Vivek.
Last but not the least, a very eminent person from the education fraternity, Mr. Praveen Jha, who is the head of admissions from Modi Universities of Science and Technology, which is in Lakshmanganj in Rajasthan. Praveen ji, thank you very much for joining in. You have a lot of experience and expertise even in different career domains as a career counselor, career guidance expert. So I expect a lot of insights from you as well as from Mr. Prabhakar for this in this session. And let's make this time much more exciting, not only for all of us who are attending this, but even for our audience who have come to attend this session with a lot of expectations. So my first questions, or I would say, I'll come to Mr. Savinay. Can you give, Savinay, some outline and overview on this two entrance exams of NEET and JEE, so that students who are in early, class 11th and 12th, if some of them are attending first, if they can get an overview, I think from there we can do the startup.
Right. Thank you, Vivek. Sure. So
speaking of JEE, let's start with the engineering side of it, right? So JEE Mains and Advanced are the top two exams when you want to get into engineering. So JEE Mains is an exam which is conducted every year. Right now, it is being conducted 4 times in a year, and all. We'll get back to that. But JEE as an exam is applied almost by around 10 lakh students, out of which all the NITs, IIITs, centrally funded technical institutions, all these institutions take admission through JEE Mains. Right? Total number of seats in NITs are approximately 16 to 17,000. Another 10,000 seats across all IIITs and CFTIs. Coming to IITs, there are 23 IITs today, which is recruiting for approximately 16,000 seats through JEE Advanced. For someone to write JEE Advanced, they have to qualify JEE Mains, after which they will be eligible to write JEE Advanced. What does qualification entail? JEE Mains, anyone who is scoring a top 20 percentiles every year, there is a cutoff score based on the scaled calculations and all. All those students who qualify in JEE Mains are eligible to write JEE Advanced. So, but again, to add on to this, I think we have an audience from outside India, Oman, Qatar and all, right? So most of these students, if they want to get admission into any of these NITs or IIITs, they have to apply through DASA route, which is direct admissions to student abroad, right? They have to attend that SAT-1, which will become the qualification, which will become the only criteria for them to directly apply to NITs. So that's a direct admission route for NITs. But if they want to get into IITs, they don't have any other option. They can't write JEE Advanced directly. They have to go through the JEE Mains, qualify that JEE Mains, then apply for JEE Advanced. That is the only route to get into engineering at IITs. Coming to NEET. So NEET is an entrance exam for medical students who are aspiring to be doctors, dentists, veterinary, agriculture. A lot of different domains today accept NEET as a entrance exam today, right? So total number of, again, the cutoffs has been increasing. Total, we'll discuss about the NEET patterns and stuff. Anyone who is aspiring to be a doctor in India, there is no alternate route, right? Be it from any country, anyway, they have to attempt NEET, be it from India, be it from outside. There are some reservations for regional colleges or from government colleges. But yeah, NEET exam is mandatory to attempt for them to get into MBBS route or even BDS route in India today. Right? That's a quick brief. Yeah. Vivek, you're on mute.
Praveen ji or Prabhakaran, would you like to add something what Savinay has just mentioned?
Yeah, as Savinay has said, the NEET is mandatory. The unfortunate part for the NRIs and international students is, they have to come in person to write the examination. That's a really unfortunate part. Being an Indian and being in India, that's not a problem. Being an Indian and living in abroad, it's a really unfortunate thing. Wherever they are, if they can't write online, they can't do something. Even during this pandemic, they'll have to come anyway to India to write this exam. That's one of the most difficult parts before we come to the toughest part of the actual examination. The traveling part during this pandemic is one of the really toughest parts. Let's come to the examination. As Savinay has said, it's a mandatory for medicine and dentistry, of which the toughest part of the actual examination. The traveling part during this pandemic is one of the really toughest parts.
Okay, there was some reason. Mr. Prabhakaran, please go ahead.
Is it echoing, sir? Or,
No, it's fine. No, go ahead, please.
Sorry, yeah. When it comes to the actual technical part or writing the examination in person, I think the NTA has introduced new rules this time. The new rules, actually it was the 180 marks. It's going to continue as it was before in 2020. But the new thing in the part A, again, it's all completely as it was before in 2020. But the part B, they have given some, exemption. Out of 15 questions, they have a chance of writing only, choose the best option of choosing only 10 questions, which is a new format. Again, it's a paper-based system, which will give a little bit advantage to the students, especially, some of the students, they used to complain, I used to study in a state board of this particular state. So my state board didn't cover this subject, didn't cover that subject in botany, didn't cover that subject in zoology, physics, whatever. But the new system or new pattern, in fact, which will help the students to skip those particular maybe the 5 questions if it's part of those untaught subject. They can choose the subjects which was originally taught during this class 12 student, whether it's an online or a physical classes during this pandemic. Still, they have a chance to skip those untaught subject and choose the correct one, whatever they were taught originally.
Okay, Vivek, you're on mute. So, Mr. Prabhakaran, just to add on to your point, you mentioned a good point in terms of NEET being still offline, right? That's actually a valid point. So, NEET is still offline exam, right? They have to come to India.
Still offline, yeah. That was the toughest part, I guess. Yeah, I said before, yeah.
Why do you think NEET is not able to adapt that online methodology when every other exam is completely online today?
Yeah, that's one of the things the government should consider is whether it's during pandemic or a normal time. That was the main complaint from the international students. I mean, leave aside our NRI students, the proper international students, whether they come from Nigeria or South Africa or even from Australians or US people, there are some passport holders of Americans. They're actually the Indian origin. They're still living in abroad, and they have the US passport, but they are originally the Indians. The problem is, they'll have to come even during the normal time. They'll have to come physically to India and write those exams. That's one of the things the government should consider, and that at least there are certain exemptions for certain international people. They'll have to make it online examination.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Can we just move on to the next question, or Praveenji would like to add quickly something on this, the overview part?
Yeah. Vivekji, I believe with this pandemic, one part which is very important, which you highlighted initially, is for the student is for the JEE and NEET exam. It's all about, it is a test of accuracy. Somebody need to understand. That's a very important point. Because even with the change of pattern also, the test is meant for test of accuracy. So, and during the pandemic and different rescheduling of exams, there was no clarity on 10+2 exams, no clarity on JEE exam, how many times it will happen, how the pattern is going to be. Same with the NEET exam. Now, finally, the dates has been announced. The JEE third and fourth phase has been announced. NEET exam date is being announced. But moreover, a student and parent, a student especially has to keep in mind, both these tests are tests of accuracy. That's the key point where they should more focused on, because still, I was having yesterday chat with some student. They were saying, sir, we have got the syllabus reduced in CBSE and other things, how it will be into JEE and NEET. I believe further we'll discuss more on this. But I believe on the primary part for both the exam, it has to be a mindset to be very clear. It's a test of accuracy. And with that mindset, the students should go write both the exams.
I think to add on to Praveenja's sir's small point, the untaught subject and the taught subject I was mentioning, there are some skip portions in some of the state syllabus as well, not only the CBSE. Of course, the students are from the state board syllabus as well. They're writing the NEET exam. This change of pattern, it might help them, or it should help them, especially in the second part of part B. So they'll be able to skip those untaught subject, as I said, or the uncovered subject during this pandemic. It would definitely help the students to prepare or even to write the examination in the upcoming 21 NEET exam.
So, Mr. Prabhakaran have touched upon, the new changes in the NEET exam pattern by NTA, right? Now, specifically looking at the first question, which I was expecting to propose on the format of the changes which are happening in the NEET and JEE exams. Now, I would like to take some contributions from Savinay and from Mr. Praveenja on this, and slowly and gradually looking at the questions, we'll move one after another so that it's very easy and classified, for the audience as well as for me to take the discussion forward. Yes. Savinay and then Praveen ji, please.
Sure. Let me just give you a quick update on what's the change of pattern in NEET today, right? So NEET has always been that 180 questions, 45 questions in each subject of physics, chemistry, botany, and zoology. 180 questions and 720 marks. The number of questions to be attempted in the total marks is still the same. The positive marks of 4, like correct answer 4 marks and wrong answer of -1 is still the same. There is a small change in every subject. Suppose let's say out of 45 questions to be attempted in each subject, that has been split into 2 sections. The first section has 35 questions, which is mandatory to attempt. The second section should have ideally had only 10 questions, but now that section has 15 questions in every section. So out of those 15 questions, student can attempt any 10 questions, and those will be considered as full, like 10 in section B and 35 in section A. Total of 45 questions will be considered for the subject calculation. Mind here, so total questions, the total time of 180 minutes and total questions to be attempted of 180 questions is still the same, right? Total marks is still the 720, but it can be taken as an advantage. It can be taken as a disadvantage. Maybe let's hear from the panel, then we'll discuss on this, right? So that's a change of pattern, but reminder, even if you attempt an extra question, every question has a negative marking also. So student also has to keep that in mind.
So Mr. Prabir Jha, what is your view on this? As Savinay also pointed out, looking at the advantage and the disadvantage side, the change in pattern in your view, how do you classify this and look at as an advantage or a disadvantage for the students? The change in pattern, yeah.
See, change in pattern, I believe, may not have a disadvantage, because see, whenever there is an entrance exam, as initially I told, it's a test of accuracy. There is no disadvantage at all. Only thing is the confusion of mindset, like the syllabus and other things. Because anyway, the change of pattern do not have a very big impact, because the student has gone thoroughly. They are aware about the NEET previous medical entrance test also. Any example you take, either India or any other place also. It's a very exhaustive exam. The comprehensive study has to be there. And there was a negative exam and the pattern continued. So negative marking always leads us to accuracy. So more and more accurate you are, more and more confident you are, you should attempt the question and move forward. So again, follow the basics. That's the mantra. So if your basics are correct, still there is a proper time for revision, because now from 13th July, the applications have been started. An exam is going to be held in the month of September. So still there is a time. So there is a proper time for revision, revising the things. And I believe by end of this 31st of August, CBSE and other results will be out. Definitely, if you talk about the entire Southeast Asia or South Asia, results are delayed. Still, there are issues with the results and all. So if a student want to come from there itself, we have to see the pandemic guidelines and other things, how government is lenient. And as Mr. Prabhakaran was talking about, it may happen that they can change the pattern with different requests from different country also. It may happen. You never know. Because if NTA is conducting, if they are conducting online exam for JEE, I believe the same can be done for a NEET exam also. The only challenge in past for medical exam in India is the number of seats are limited. And there were a lot of things happen for which NEET is making it mandatory for the offline exam. So that criteria, actually, there are certain aspects for which compulsorily NEET has to conduct offline exam because of limited number of seats and involvement of so many private medical colleges and other things. So they have restricted it to that way. Whereas in GUC, they can conduct online because the level of difficulty, and the other player also who take online exam for engineering entrance. So the question level goes moving on. Like the easier question you solve, the vaster question you'll get. But NEET, they want to put it in offline because of some past experience and other things, limited number of seats and all. And medical is a different ballgame altogether. But it may happen. Still, there is a time, I believe, different feedback from different corner will come. It may happen for foreign student or something. It can be online because now I believe with artificial intelligence coming into place, things are so much secure and other things. A lot of other online exams are being conducted in a very secure environment. So I believe that is an option which government can or NDA can think of to conduct those tested for NEET exam also for the foreign student who are interested at least. So that is one way to let us see how government move across.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, I have questions. One small point I would like to assure through Praveen sir's point, it has some definitely advantage rather than a disadvantage of the change of pattern. As I said, the skipped subjects or untaught subject, the students, they will have a more chance of skipping those lessons or skipping those particular questions and move on to the proper subjects which was originally taught in this during this pandemic. So I would like to assure the students who are going to write the exam, it has definitely more advantage rather than a disadvantage for this pattern.
I somewhere disagree with both of you, sir, here, because in competitive, someone who wants to really qualify for that NEET, right? The number of questions you need to look at to even understand, attempt that question. Let's say there are 5 optional questions, is how we are treating it. But if you look at only 1 minute per question, now that has reduced down to less than it is at least reduced by 5 seconds for each question to even go through that, right? Now, that is actually a psychological impact also on the students. Now, suppose let's say if I have to attempt 10 questions in 10 minutes is a lot different from I have 15 questions, out of which I have to choose 10 questions first, then attempt those 10 questions. Somewhere student has to have that clarity on which questions to attempt without even understanding the whole question also somewhere. So that way, for them to even go through those 15 questions itself is consuming a few minutes there. So that time management in the exam will be much more crucial now with this kind of extra questions today. So someone who is really targeting that qualification to getting into the government medical college thing, this will be the deciding factor on how they are deciding to attempt these questions, right? So that will be very maybe you need to practice a bit. Yes. Change, of course, with little bit of practice, they'll be able to identify those questions. Instead of reading the questions, maybe they have to premeditate before the exam itself on which topics to attempt, which topics not to attempt. That will help them to choose those questions faster. That will help them save their time. Right? So the way you can get this as an advantage is to kind of premeditate and kind of go there. But yeah, just don't look at it as an option and start doing every question there, which will kind of eat off a lot of time.
Okay, gentlemen, I have Praveenji, I'll come to you. We have now 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. We will certainly come to you and we'll continue discussion. But I think, since audience are putting their questions in between, 2 questions are related to NEET. So is NCERT enough for NEET preparation now when the pattern has changed? This is first question. And the second is, will there be an EWS quota in NEET 2021-2022? So if panel, in very briefly you can answer, then we can at least move ahead. And third question is also pertaining to NEET. Is there any age limit to apply for NEET 2021? Any one of you? The first one, is NCERT enough for NEET? Yeah.
I can take that. Okay. So
each one of you can take one question.
Sure. So NCERT is definitely enough to take this NEET, because whatever the pattern has changed, it's about that incremental of few questions and change of language. Addition of language has also been the latest update with NEET. With all these things in the picture, the syllabus or the background or the requirement of NEET hasn't changed. NCERT will definitely be enough, right? But a lot of practice of taking that mock test and taking that online assessment is required always to kind of adopt to the new pattern. It's not about the syllabus. Syllabus is still the same. There is not much change there.
Yeah. In terms of the second question, Vivek sir, the EWS quota, a lot of students, when they approach the specific university, they ask this question. But the students, they'll have to keep in mind, when they apply for a centralized university or a deemed university and state, the universities or the colleges which are coming under the state government, they'll have to keep in mind, split those two types of university to a separate category, because the EWS quota or a state quota or any caste-based quota in some states, those are all the things not coming into picture for a centralized university or a deemed university. All these quota-related the things which will come in place, especially the state university and the colleges which are coming or affiliated under the state university. Maybe there will be one head university under this university, which will accreditate some colleges. So only those quota will be applicable for those students and the universities and the students, who are applying for those universities and colleges.
All right. Okay, Praveenji, you can take one question. You can see it in the chat. The question is all about, is there any age limit to apply for NEET? And
Yes,
the
sir.
second one is, how much time will it take for completing the NEET portion? I think this, I could not follow this question. If anyone you have
Okay.
gathered this point, how much time will it take for
For
completing
NEET
the
exam, the minimum age criteria is 17 years as on 31st December 2021. So that is the minimum criteria they have fixed, that one need to have 17 years, then only he or she can write NEET exam. The another question which somebody was talking about, the NEET preparation time. See, in general, nowadays, if you see the pattern, some of the students starting from class 9 onward, 10 onward, 11 onward, 12 onward. So it depends on your own planning. Like earlier you decide advantage you'll have. That's one part. But in general, I believe, apart from the NCERT reference book and other things, I believe in a minimum scenario also, it need to have a 1 year time so that you can have a proper revision coverage of the entire syllabus of the NEET, what they are asking as per the syllabus. So I believe in a very nominal way also, it requires rigorous 1 year time, at least 2 to 3 hours or 4 hour day for NEET preparation exclusively, apart from the 10+2 syllabus or any other engagement you have. At least 2 to 3 hours or minimum 3 hours time per day to cover the syllabus. It will have minimum 7 to 8 month time, and you should have a cushion of 2 to 3 months for mock test preparation and other things to have a better preparation for NEET.
Great, sir. I think the fifth question, will MBBS admission AIIMS and ZIPMER also happen through NEET UG in 2021?
Yeah.
I think the students be aware of this because it was included in the year of 2020 itself. I think the students should have been familiar with this one. All AIIMS and ZIPMER, both the ZIPMER, they're also taking through NEET UG since 2020. I think the students should keep in mind. I think they're also eligible to apply for AIIMS and ZIPMER through NEET UG.
Perfectly fine. I think some more questions are there, but we can take those questions after another 5 to 10 minutes, because we have to, take some pertaining questions which we have curated here. So can we move to the next part? Next part is, now as JEE Mains has 4 attempts. So in your view, what are the advantages, disadvantages for students? Very briefly, we can cover this. With that, we can also add some point. When you are answering, Mr. Praveen Jha, you can add, one point which is pending at your end.
See, G4 attempt I see as a very proactive approach from the side of government, because there was a demand for last few years. Even there was a voice from IIT also that because there are two ways, like there are students who are taking the second attempt at the second year rather, and there are students who are the appearing student for 10+2. So for them, appearing for January, February is always a challenge, because they have to complete their own 10+2 syllabus also, because in general, the exam is scheduled in the month of March as per CBSE norms. At other places also, even in Dubai also, whatever CBSE schools are there, they are following the same pattern. So in general, earlier it used to happen on month of April only. Initially it was May, then they put it on the first Sunday of April. So I believe this 4 attempt has given an extra cushion for the student to prepare more and have a more check also, I believe. Like if somebody want to take January, February exam, then they have again come up and fight back in the month of April and May. And one good thing what JEE has proposed, that the best rank they will take up, and they will have an opportunity to take admission on that ground. I believe it will help only the student to have more and more chance. Always it is there.
Wonderful. Mr. Prabhakaran or Savinay would like to add, something or put your perspective forward. Savinay? Yeah.
Sure. So as Mr. Jha was saying, in terms of 4 attempts is generally relaxation for students. Yes, it depends on, as you are rightly pointing out, it depends on which student is it. Someone who is appearing for 12 this year, it is completely chaotic for them, right? So it like right from December or January, it's always a question in their mind. Okay, should I study for my boards now? Should I study for this attempt of JEE? Right? But for someone who is dropping an year, this is definitely an advantage to kind of do more attempts to kind of have that last minute checks and kind of improve upon in the last 3 months. That will be an advantage. But for someone who is attempting their boards in their 12th and attempting these 4 attempts, right? There are 2 cases on how you have to handle this practically, right? Suppose let's say someone who is really targeting JEE Advanced, give their best attempt in first attempt and just qualify JEE Mains and close it and focus on your boards and JEE Advanced. Someone who is not targeting the JEE Advanced, someone who is just wanting to go for JEE Mains, I would say the last attempt of JEE Mains will be crucial. Even the first attempt, of course, for that matter, because the second and third attempt are actually clashing with their entire board exam preparations. So that way, 2 attempts was actually the sweet spot. So I don't know the complete morale behind 4 attempts. But yeah, now that it is there, people, some of them are finding it as an advantage for sure. In terms of observation, right, just for students who are wanting to attempt JEE this year, and again, 2 attempts are already done this year, who are attempting for another 2 attempts, or maybe people who are wanting to attempt next year. First attempt is always with lower score, you get a higher percentile because students don't tend to kind of complete their syllabus by that time, don't tend to revise much by that time. So someone who is a quick learner, someone who wants to take advantage of this, should really focus on that first attempt to score decently and get that higher percentile. Because with you growing and with you learning more over the attempts, everyone else is also doing that in the same time, right? That way, it's about what are you targeting, what is your focus. Based on that, you focus on the first attempt or the last attempt. Don't try to take it as a pressure on you have to do best in every attempt. No, it's not meant for that. It's just meant as a monthly mock test where you kind of keep on practicing and give your best, try to give your best in all the tests and you get the best out of it. You get best possible score out of it. That's how it has been designed.
All right. Thank you very much. You see, the best thing I am enjoying here is the diverse outlook and thoughts of this panel. So it's always good to have disagreement. I would rather say not disagreement, but different perspective, you know, how you look at, because that's a diverse mindset we are catering to. Those are our audience. So I think I simply congratulate my panel for having a very diverse thoughts, which somehow is benefiting the interaction, what we are having and letting the audience know what are the different perspectives which are there, and accordingly they can select. Mr. Prabhakaran, can you take question number 7? Will the NMC Act replacing MCI?
I think that's a simple question. I think the students should be aware. It doesn't make a big difference in terms of the examination. I think we've talked about the examinations pattern already and the type of questions and type of subjects you can skip on those things. So that won't make big changes. Of course, you know, the MCA has been changed as a NMC. So in terms of eligibility, age limit and syllabuses, those things, you know, wouldn't be relevant for the NEET exam this year. I think let's move on to the 8th question. I mean, if you don't mind,
yes,
I've been asked by asked this question so many times by the student. So the NRI students, you know, they have to be very clear. The flexibility.
Mr. Prabhakaran, I'll just request you to pause. Let me, you know, put the question so the audience, they cannot see the question.
Please.
So maybe they'll be able to hear it. So the question number 8, which has come is, how does admissions through NRI quota work? Can the students try through general quota or NRI quota? So do you have some NRI quota, you know, for any provision for that? So now you may please answer the question.
Yeah, that's the question. I was saying I was asked by the students so many times, even during this last 3 years class, and I was asked by the students a number of times. The NRI quota, it's more of a benefiting the students rather than affecting them being as an NRI. What I'm trying to say, being an NRI, you can also apply as a general quota or a normal category or an Indian quota. But being an NRI, whether your father works or mother works there and you studied in abroad, it's an advantage. If you wish to apply under the NRI quota, you can apply. Otherwise, you know, you can apply under the normal quota itself. So the NRI quota, it's just more of the government is trying to benefit you rather than, you know, making you a disadvantage. But there are some universities at the university level, you know, for example, in our university as well, other programs will take the students who studied in abroad under the NRI quota only, but we won't consider them as Indian students. But for NRI, the students, even whether they studied in abroad or the parents worked in abroad, they can apply under the normal quota as long as they hold or carry the Indian passport. So rather than they're worrying about NRI quota and general quota, you better apply if you have a confidence in your marks after getting the results, you can apply under the domestic quota itself.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm just moving. We have only 20 minutes to go. So let's move to our fifth questions. That how will the split board syllabus prepare students to write JEE and NEET? So the syllabus, the way the board syllabus has splitted. So how this will help students prepare to write for JEE and NEET? So any response from the panel? Savinay, Praveenji.
So, okay, maybe I'll take that. So board split shouldn't affect the students' preparation. First of all, of course, writing that board exam in the middle of the year will kind of give an advantage to kind of focus on only a limited set of subjects. So this has been done to make sure at least there is that half-yearly syllabus which is being conducted and kind of computed at a frequent interval. But in terms of students preparing for any competitive exams, that phase of board split shouldn't be a factor in their preparation at all. The overall flow of their preparation for the competitive exam will still stay intact, right? So boards and competitive exams should not be, again, so most of the students come up to me and say this point saying, okay, I'm preparing for boards, I'm not able to focus on my competitive exams. Guys, there is no such thing as competitive exam, there is no such thing as boards. You are studying subject, right? Subject is the same. Right? Focus on just the way of attending, just some practice, additional practice is definitely required for competitive exams. But whatever the board is splitting, yes, there is a different logic on how they want to compute the scores and stuff. But that should not disturb your preparation schedule at all.
Praveenji, would like to add something?
Yeah. See, I agree with Sabinaji. The only thing is like this year, G and other exam, like they have put some part MCQ and some part the numerical values. I believe that is going to make the difference how you deal with the questions also. So that is going to make a big difference. So it's all about what Sabinaji was talking was more about more and more practice you'll be into. And still there is exam, although for G there are a few days left. But for NEET, I believe to the NEET aspirant, you have got enough time still to practice more and more to increase your accuracy level. Because when we are writing a board exam or any other exam, you are writing the answers and you're getting marks for that. While in competition, there is a time management, there is an approach, number of, as Sabinaji was talking about, the number of per second also become a valuable. And so hence the approach has to be a different, the mindset has to be a different when you are writing a board exam or when you are writing a competitive exam. So go with a different mindset. There is a time limit so that you should explore some additional time for yourself for revision also and other things. And definitely go through the entire syllabus as nothing is being excluded. Every part is equally important. So you never know from which part the more number of questions will come. But definitely for JEE, this year when they have changed it, that MCQ and numerical thing, that is going to help the student as well.
I'll request all my panel, to cover, we have been covered the technical part of this JEE as well as NEET. Now, let's, switch over to the little non-technical part. So during this pandemic, when students are studying, at home, and on their own itself, because there's no physical classes which are happening. So how robust will be there, for them in terms of concept clarity or, motivation or, making a time management, getting trained on such things which Praveenji, you are advising. So can we have some kind of tips from all of you, from all the panels who can at least provide to the students how they can work in terms of understanding the concept clarity when they are away from the physical classrooms? We can start one by one, Savinay and then Praveenji and then Prabhakar, or even Prabhakar, you want to come first? Please, you can start.
I think the previous answers from Savinayji and Praveenji, covers this part. As long as they prepare and get self-motivated, because most of the, especially the Middle East, they didn't attend the classes at all till January, February. I'll be surprised, if they've attended more than a couple of months physical classes. So they will have to be motivated. They'll have to have a self-preparation and more of practicing on their own, rather than getting the physical advice they used to get until 2019 batch from the teachers or from the coaching centers. So it has to come from the self-motivation and their own interest and more practice on themselves.
Okay. Praveenji, Savina, you want to add something here?
Yeah. Just to add on to what Mr. Prabhakaran is saying, right? Students have this phobia when they're studying, sitting at home. They have this phobia, okay, I'm not even in a classroom environment. I haven't been practicing along with my peers. I might not be performing well. Just remember one point, right? It is same for everyone who is attending that exam. It is not just for you.
True.
Right? It is exactly the same environment for everyone who is attending that exam. Right? Because honestly, Vivek, what happens in this competitive exam preparation is 15 to 20% is the only thing which the faculties can inculcate knowledge into you. Rest 80-85%, like 70 to 75% will be your self-efforts. Right? That self-efforts would have been more efficient if you're doing it in a group, in a classroom environment, that competitive spirit. That's what drives everyone to that maximum efficiency. Of course, rest 5% is always luck in any competitive exam. There is no doubt about it. Right? Now, if you're not able to optimize that, your self-efforts, right? Just remember this point, okay, everyone is not able to, it's not just you. Right? Because honestly, that online environment is not able to give that peer group or peer networking, which is really required at that stage. Most of the problems, right? More than 50% of the problems, even at my time, like even 10, 12 years ago, it was always, most of them were solved during discussions with friends, during the study hours, kind of stuff like that. Now, a lot of things have reduced in that angle. But yes, people might feel the toughness, like competitiveness might have increased. Number of students attempting are increasing every year. Everything is changing now. I don't even have anyone to discuss. These are the thoughts which runs through students' mind. Remember that point and you will be at ease. Make sure you put your best efforts is what I would say.
Yeah, Praveenji, you want to add something? Thank you, Savina. I think your point, I find it to be very relevant. The disadvantage is all throughout, it's not that, particular to one set of students.
Worried about. I spoke to a lot of students in the last few months also, right? A lot of students are just worried about this. Okay, I don't have anyone to discuss. I don't know what my preparation is. I'm just giving an exam once a month. I don't know where I stand. I'm worried I'll not be able to qualify exam stuff. I'm like, okay, for everyone for sure, right?
Thank you. Yes, Praveenji, please.
Vivekji, on a lighter note, if you see, when we were studying into school and colleges, we always were looking from teachers that we have very limited study leave, even for exams and even for competitive exam. This pandemic has given us opportunity to have a bigger range of study leave so that you can prepare more for your competitive exams. You can prepare more for your board exams. Only thing is, if you see the differences, say when somebody is going to a school or college, they are going 8 hours there, then they have some referral books, some tuition, some coaching and other things. So the time and time part, how much time is being consumed when we have physical activity. This time, apart from physical interaction with the teachers or your peer group, everything was same. And even the opportunity was more to explore more on the internet and try to get more and more referrals. And even interaction with the teacher definitely was available in virtual mode, not in physical mode. And I believe all the school, all the tutors, coaching classes were in support for providing the coaching and other things. So I believe the study leave was readily available on a bigger note. So the preparation time is more actually. Only thing is what Sabina sir was talking about is you need to have a self-motivation that yes, I have to go through this phase because everybody is going through the same. And motivate yourself, look it forward, set the goal, go for more and more practice so that you can do more and more accurate answering the question and queries for your board exam also. So if you talk about the time at least, so this last 2 years, we have enough time to do a lot of things. Even for board clarification of more and more concept where your weaker section or you are weak into that, and preparing for the competitive exam also because the exams are delayed. So we have enough time to prepare for the same. It's all about we should have a mind frame, different mind frame that we all are going through this pandemic, and let us accept this and take it go forward.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Praveenji, for explaining so well, especially this point. Mr. Prabhakaran, can you take this question number 10, which we have got regarding NRIs? If a student applies through general quota band, and if the student does not get the college of their choice, can they switch to NRI quota later, facilitating them join the college of their choice under NRI quota for NEET? I think, okay, 2-3 times. So is a switch over which is possible under NRI quota on a later stage? Question number 10, which has come here.
Yeah, I think as long as the students are clear, when they apply under MCC, the first round, second round, and third round, they have to be clear, whether they have enough score or of securing the seat, the college they would be aspiring for. If they are in still doubt, they would better go for a NRI quota from the first round itself, because the second round and third round, you can't change your quota. Again, it has to change during, when it comes to the mop-up round. So the first, when you apply under the NRI quota, under the general quota in the first round, you didn't get your college of your choice. The second round itself, you can't change your the band. You have to follow through the second and the third round under the same general quota. Still, you won't be getting, if you don't get it in the first round, the second round, you will have a lesser chance of getting the third round, even, the lesser chance of getting, unless, some of the students who already secured the seat and withdraw the seat. So it's better, if you're a dilemma, or if you're in a, if you're in 50-50, you better apply. Of course, the fee structure is far higher than the domestic quota. So, but, you better apply under the domestic, the NRI quota from the first round itself. You wait till the mop-up round and then get through NRI quota, the college of your choice, if the seat is available in the particular university.
So switch over is not possible. So it's better to apply
during the first, second, and third.
So it's better to apply in, taking consideration the NRI quota at the first phase itself. Okay, perfectly fine. So that comes, we'll come to the last question from my side, which is now NEET now has an optional questions like the way it's in JEE. So how will that impact cutoff? Mr. Prabhakaran, you can take this. Or
I think we already answered the question. You're putting the question in a different perspective. That's still the same question. It doesn't make any difference. As Savinay sir initially said, the 180 questions you will have to answer regarding the change of pattern. So it won't make a big difference. Still, the scoring pattern and the assessment pattern, the negative mark pattern, the right answer marking, everything remains same. So yeah, I think it's been already answered.
Thank you. So Savinay, what I suggest, from your side, and I'll request to all the panelists, a piece of advice or any important aspect which you feel it's important and relevant for the parents as well as students to be aware about when it comes to entrance exams, whether it's JEE or NEET. Please specify those pointers so that we can cover the whole spectrum of the concern areas and the queries of the parents and students. Thank you.
Before that, Vivek, just I want to add one point to the last question which you asked about the optional questions, right? So there is one gray area which hasn't been clarified by the NEET authority today, right? Suppose, let's say, what happens if student attempts all the 15 questions of that optional? Are the only correct answers being chosen? Are the only first 10 questions are being chosen? This is still complete gray area. So I suggest students not to attempt more than 10 questions just to avoid that gray area. Just make sure and you don't play around with attempting more than 10 questions, because we don't know how they are being chosen. It is still not yet clarified.
Yeah. So what priority they will choose? Yeah. Right. Good point.
So in terms of advice to students who are preparing for any competitive exams, right? My first advice has always been this: focus on your strengths and weaknesses, right? Especially an exam like JEE. Of course, NEET cutoffs has been rising every year, and it's about scoring the maximum marks. NEET is always about the knowledge, the amount of knowledge you can have, the amount of things you know across all the topics. But an exam like JEE is always about the depth of the subject, right? Suppose you look at any JEE advanced paper till date, exception of 1 year in the last 40 years. Even if a student can score a 50% score in JEE advanced, they can get a top 1000 rank, a 3-digit rank in an IIT, right? What does that mean? That means IIT exam is not actually testing you on the breadth of the subject, but actually on the depth of the subject. So while practicing and while taking your mock test, doing that regular practice, you have to kind of be clear on what is your strength. Suppose, let's say, a particular set of topics in maths or physics, I'm really good at. So focus on them and kind of deep dive into it and make sure you attempt every question of that topic. And you completely ignore whatever you're not confident about. That way, students save a lot of time while attempting the paper itself and also gains that confidence overall. This strength weakness analysis has to be done right from day one of your preparation, even during your practice tests. Once you identify those strengths and weaknesses, applying those concepts or applying that knowledge in the exam hall will definitely improve your score. If you are a 60% student, you'll improve that to minimum 70-75% just by understanding your own strengths and weaknesses and not playing around with it in the final exam.
Wonderful. I think this piece of advice was important. May I request Praveenji to put forward his round of advice for the students and the parents?
Sir, for JEE, since there will be 2 phases remain now, so there is a pool of 10 days and another about 20-25 days, which is going to be in August. So as Sabnai was talking, the key mantra is only practice, practice, and practice for JEE people. For NEET aspirant, at least since there is a pool of another about 40-45 days, definitely they can work on more into gray area also where there are area of concern. And again, their mantra is only practice, practice, practice. Because without that, without accuracy, without timeliness, that's very important. And one more thing Sabnai was stressing upon, like that selection of 10 questions among the 15 I believe that is also a crucial part which may play a bigger role in the cutoff marks, at least for some group of students. So at least they have to judge on a primary facie. If you believe that this question, nothing is coming to your mind, go to the next one. So that will play a key role even in the cutoff for the student who are taking up the NEET. But JEE, as it's an exhaustive program, comprehensive one, so you should go with a cool mind. In next 10 to 30 days time, practice, practice, and practice with all cool, keeping pandemic and other things in mind. And I wish all best wishes to all the aspirant, all the panelists, and the student and parents who are in the Zoom room with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Prabhakaran, please.
Yeah, I think we've nearly come to the closing stage. It's been a fantastic arrangement by the affairs, never disappointed us, especially as participants. They never disappoint us. Even through this last 3 days, it's been absolutely wonderful. There are a lot of we've been able to meet the students, even though it's online through online platform. So I wish all the students and parents, who participate in this discussion, I think they find it very useful. And even if they have any future questions, you can contact through affairs, one of the 4 representatives. So we are quite happy to answer them. Wish the students very good luck for your JEE, JEE, and NEET as well. Thank you.
Mr. Prabhakaran, while you're closing, so I'll give you 10.1 question. Just answer this so we can change.
I think it was a 7th question or 8th question. The students got a little bit the particular student got a little bit confused. Even if they apply under the NRI quota, still they can't change it. They had a they had a more lesser mark, and still they were able to clear clear through the domestic quota or Indian quota. So that's not the case. Whether you apply under the general quota or NRI quota, the next 2 rounds, second and third round, will carry through the same quota. So it's not the other way around. You apply under the general quota, then change the second and third round. It's the same whether you apply under the general or NRI. Still continues through the next second and third round. So you can't switch over meanwhile. I mean, of course, you have a chance during the mop-up round.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, dear audience, my dear students, parents, and educators who have been attending this session, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for reposing trust on Study in India Education Fair, attending. We are really missing UAE. We are really missing traveling to Doha, Qatar, which we have been doing for last 7 years regularly. And unfortunately, due to pandemic, we could not travel in 2020 as well as in 2021. But looking at the evolving scenarios and things, how they're progressing, I'm much confident that maybe in the next session, all the colleagues which you have met, all the educationists, all the participating institutions. We look forward to meet you in person during the exhibition, and not a virtual, maybe not a virtual can be a follow-up session, but first session, we personally look forward to host in person the way we have been conducting in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, in Doha, in Muscat. So yeah, we really are missing, interacting face to face. But certainly, as things are improving, in the meantime, I wish you all the success and my heartiest thanks to our esteemed panelists. And the best thing which I enjoyed as a moderator, I learned a lot. I got many inputs from you. Though, as I was telling Savinay and Praveenji, that I'm not too, updated on the recent changes which has taken place. So thank you for the learning which I have gathered from this session. And once again, all the audience, thank you once again for coming and joining here. All the best to you all, and see you soon in 2021 in person. And let me tell you, as in case if you have any questions, feel free to go to the virtual platform. There's a student help desk. You can drop in your questions there. Our video counselors are available. You can interact with the video counselors. They can try and provide you information as quickly as possible. Or there's an email which is there. You can drop an email. Your concern, queries, we forward it to the participating institutions, and we help you connecting with them so that you can have a very fruitful engagement with them in terms of counseling, in terms of clarifying your doubts, as well for admissions counseling. So thank you once again. Wonderful gentlemen. It's always great pleasure interacting and having a wonderful conversation with you all. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.